All right. Thank you so much, Mark, Partha, and Pune. Thank you very much, and congratulations on a new president. Hope he is able to take the baton to the next level and make your country proud. Uh, Let me introduce Mark first because he came in first in the session. Mark is a lobster guy. Um, he has been selling fresh lobsters for many, many years, and he's a founder and CEO of Black Point Seafood. Uh, so they procure lobster. Marx is an early riser. He gets up at 4 a.m. He used to go to the boat and catch lobsters as well. Long time back, doesn't do it anymore. And he ships fresh lobsters from dock to door. That's what his caption is. And sometimes when people receive his lobsters, they're alive, and they don't know how to go about alive lobsters. And then Marx also gives them a guidance on how to handle alive lobsters and make a feast out of them. And Mark has a beautiful YouTube video which you must watch. That video is being done by Chase Bank. He's a Chase Platinum Business video with Chase Bank, and it's beautiful journey being conveyed in a short 3-4 minute video on his profile. So Mark, thank you so much. He ships lobsters across North America. Mark, thank you so much for coming over this morning. A lot to learn from you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Now we have Partha. Partha is a CEO and founder of Lasso. He has been featured in Forbes under 30, Forbes 30 under 30, and he was invited to White House by Barack Obama for speaking on so Partha does a lot of innovation in the sports industry. They make apparels and sports gear. They combine aesthetics with science to make sports more beautiful. A lot of athletes around the globe wear his stuff to prevent injuries, to recover faster, to perform better. So Mark has been Partha has been instrumental in making this fabulous athlete wear, and he was invited to White House by Barack Obama to talk about how his techniques are helping sports people recover faster and be better and perform better. And he has been a TEDx speaker, and Partha has also been an award-winning entrepreneur. Partha, thank you so much for coming over. A lot of young entrepreneurs who are on board, who want to start their e-commerce venture right now, are looking forward to hear from you. Thank you so much, Partha, for coming over this morning.
Thanks, Amit.
Thank you. Uh, Pune, Pune or Pune?
Either or. Pooneh's fine.
Pooneh, she is a CEO and founder of Tokidoki. We all know Tokidoki. It's a Japanese-inspired lifestyle brand. It was started in 2005 by Pooneh and her two other partners, and they make apparel, footwear, accessories, and other products using arts and cartoon characters. Tokidoki has been in collaboration with Levi's, Skull Candy, Fujitsu, Barbie, and you name it. And by the way, Pooneh is also a law graduate. She's a lawyer, and we'll also talk about what made her transition from law to lifestyle and e-commerce and fashion. Pooneh, thank you so much for coming over. A lot of people can learn from you, from your experience. Thank you so much. Let me ask from Pooneh itself. Okay, let me introduce myself as well, guys. My name is Amit Koshal. I'm an engineer and a lawyer. We run this company Enalito, and we have a Shopify and a Magento app. We help people in email marketing. So we compete with likes of Klaviyo's and Mailchicks and Brontos, but we do a better job in the sense we do a lot of precise segmentation of customers. We can tell you which customers you're losing. We also help you increase your return on ad spend by 7 times. And we also analyze a lot of KPIs, a lot of key performance indicators of your business. by analyzing 600 plus KPIs, we identify which are your KPIs which are lacking behind and which ones you can basically work upon them to give you a good business score. So we have a Shopify app which has gotten 5 stars, and we're doing this session primarily to educate people about e-commerce, and people like you can help in helping people who have the e-commerce stores and giving them your guidance, your knowledge, your success mantras at how I have you been able to crack this business in the of the e-commerce world. So Pooneh, tell me something about your journey and how did you transition from being a lawyer uh, to e-commerce world, Tokidoki and lifestyle business?
Sure. So actually, Tokidoki is my third business to date. My first company, I started with my sister back in 1995. It was called Hard Candy Cosmetics, and we basically disrupted the nail enamel industry back in the late 90s. We came out with these funky colors and we were selling them as fashion accessories. And we were actually one of the very first companies to be selling cosmetics on the internet back in the 90s. So I had every intention of pursuing a entertainment law career, and my sister was pre-med at USC, and we basically stumbled upon Hard Candy. My sister created this beautiful blue colored, pastel colored polish to match her sandals as she was going to a party. She's always been very fashion forward and creative, and people just freaked out over the color. And so she started mixing other pastel colors, and it was really a fashion item. And so decided to, at that time I was waiting for bar results and I was working for a production company. So I was pursuing the first step of my 10-year plan. And we both decided to just go for it. And she ended up not going to medical school, but she's been creating cosmetic lines ever since, and she's extremely talented. So segue from Hard Candy, we sold that in 1999 to Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy. And then I had a second business that actually took other brands online with my ex-husband, Ivan Arnold. So we basically had clients like Smashbox Cosmetics, Oliver Peoples. We had some great clients, Trina Turk, but we wanted to have our own brand. And I wanted to get back into product development. And so basically, we discovered Simone Legno, who is my business partner now. This is some of his fine art behind me and some of our collaborations, one with Cartel, one with Onitsuka Tiger. We've collaborated with everybody from Hello Kitty to Marvel to, as you mentioned, Barbie. We've done slot machines, wine, we do all kinds of consumer products. But anyway, discovered him, fell in love with his aesthetic and his art. He was living in Milan at the time, convinced him to move to the United States and incubated Tokidoki in the walls of our second business until we had enough traction that we could just focus on Tokidoki. And so we're in our 15th year of the brand, and it's very exciting, and we're still having a good time. We still think we're in our nascent stages of building these properties and all of our intellectual property. And so Simone is extremely talented, extremely prolific, and here we are today.
Excellent, wonderful. That's a great story, Pooneh. Looking forward to chatting with you in the entire session for 60 minutes. Thank you so much. Mark, tell us your why. Why are you in lobster business? Like, what's your why?
I really enjoy designing experiences that impact people's heart, face, and belly. And when I got into the business, I said to myself, Mark, you know nothing about this business, because I was a consultant prior. I grew up in Maine. I knew everything, about lobster on the consumer side of things. However, as it went to understanding how to sell it, I knew nothing. But I have a hybrid background. I have a degree in hospitality and a degree in creative writing. So I knew that I was a good storyteller, that I could inspire people via word and visual, but then had to follow through and execute on the hospitality side of things. So really obsessing about certain details. And I also have a knack for data. So I would look at price points and value and all those things that are really important. And then I literally just, design those experiences and then, try to have fun with it. But yeah, my why is just, I love being a part of important celebrations at home. And we've been lucky enough to be the last meal, a 75th birthday party, a wedding, multiple weddings. And it's just an honor and privilege to have that responsibility. And then it's exciting to, what goes into executing on it, right? Live lobster to Los Angeles, how, and so that's pretty cool problem to solve.
Wonderful, excellent. So we're going to be talking more to you about logistics part of it, because a lot of people's a tight window, a short window to make sure that you deliver perishable goods in time, and so that they do not lose their flavor and texture. Thank you so much, Mark, for coming over and sharing your insights. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Partha, Forbes 30 under 30. White House speaker, TEDx speaker. How do you do this? How do you do all of this?
That's a funny question. For me, I'm just really, really passionate about helping people move. After I broke my ankle playing basketball, it took a year of rehab for me to get back to status quo where I was before. And then another several months later, I dunked a basketball for the first time. And I'm not supposed to do that because I'm brown. My genetics don't do that. So going through the process, learning how my body works and learning that the really only ceilings we have on ourselves are mental. I saw that I could create products that help people go through a lot of the benefits that I got from the rehab process just by putting them on. So our apparel, like our compression socks, the core technology basically reinforces key ligaments and tendons to help people move better, whether that's on the performance side, recovery side, rehab side, you name it. The product's agnostic of use case. And for me, that's a powerful thing because products that improve your health should be designed for lifestyle use. Pooneh, I love kind of what you guys do in the space because it's taking a lot of brand stories, bringing them together and giving people interesting use cases, interesting ways to express themselves on products. And we use a really similar strategy with our brand collaborations to basically help people express themselves. We really like to be the canvas, but it's a functional canvas as opposed to every other piece of apparel we've had to date. So for me, it's really just the core thing is, can I help everybody in the world, really go through the same habits they go through on a day-to-day basis, put on your socks, put on your underwear, whatever it might be, and have a measurable benefit as a result of that.
Wonderful, excellent. But I also read somewhere that you were in the technology, you were pursuing your Bachelor of Sciences. Did you complete that?
No. So I was at Georgia Tech. I dropped out when I started going down the entrepreneurship journey, raised some money right off the bat, and just have been going since.
Yes. And it says that you only had left 20 hours of credit left, and you left,
Yeah.
did not complete the 20 hours, and you dropped out of college. Why should somebody not do it?
Yeah. I don't follow a lot of rules. So when I went to college, it was not for a degree. I have no value that I place on degrees or any sort of usual metric of success in life. But for me, it's all about impact. And I just saw that things were lining up where I had an opportunity to take a step and make a big impact on the world. And I took it.
But you know what, 20 more hours and you would have earned one degree as well.
But what's the degree for? It's to get a job. I already made one. So.
Okay. All right. Very interesting. Very interesting. So is it actually cool to drop out of college just before you are about to pass out? Is it considered cool in the US?
No, it's funny. My parents are college professors too. So I had to tell them I was on break. But I had no intention of going back.
Do they know it now?
They know it now. You know that the Kanye West has this lyric. He says, you know, I didn't graduate, but I was finished, and that's how I felt.
Choosing the right words, I'm sure Pooneh would agree.
No, I believe in education. I believe in higher education. I think knowledge is your power, and I think you can be self-taught for sure. I would never advise someone to not pursue, further learning, even if it's, institutionalized learning. But for some people, like my sister, she was one class away from her graduation, and she never went back to get that. And she doesn't need to. I mean, her passion and her expertise is her creativity and her ability to create these amazing cosmetic lines and push the envelope in those arenas. And I think Partha is probably very similar in that it wouldn't serve her anymore at this point. And why?
Makes sense. Makes sense. If you are convinced that you can do it, then perhaps you do not need those degrees. I think that conviction and passion is very important before you take such steps. So that's a word of caution. Pooneh, coming to a business, how much is your online versus offline sales?
How much
Is
you're
on,
asking me for?
yeah, about your business. Tokidoki is how much of it is online versus offline?
That's a very difficult question for me to actually put into a statistic, a ratio for you, because our business model is pretty complex. We are a global brand. We have global distribution. So we have distributors and retail partners that sell online through their own channels in different countries. And then we have our own online distribution here in North America. However, even in North America, we have retailers that are selling online. So it would be very difficult for me to just give you that number right off the top of my head. I'm sorry. But online is it's a very important part of our business strategy, without a doubt. The direct to consumer is key. You can build a one-on-one direct relationship with your consumer through your own online channel.
Yes, absolutely. What platform do you use, Pooneh?
We're on Shopify Plus.
Right. How have been the last 7, 8 months for your business?
It's been fairly incredible for our direct to consumer business. I think that's pretty much across the board in the industry overall.
Mm-hmm.
Because of COVID, it's accelerated the online industry, online direct to consumer business for sure.
And offline, did it take a hit?
Yes.
Okay.
We're starting to recover from that now, but yeah, without a doubt.
Do you have any idea how much your online business, like on your Shopify store, grew in last 8 months?
Tripled.
Tripled, 3x. All right, excellent, wonderful. Are you guys funded or bootstrapped, or you don't need funding? I know that, but still, a lot of people who don't need funding take funding for the heck of taking funding. So
we are self-financed.
all right, wonderful. Thank you so much, Pooneh. Partha, what's your online channel, and what sales channels do you use?
Yeah, we've only been online to date. So our focus really on the first couple of years of the business was just to build a really solid foundation. So it's why we haven't even launched colorways of our product yet. We only have black and white on the site. So we've just been basically going through the process of building really clear data sets of which types of customers for which types of products. We're using that to drive our B2B strategy, which essentially we're launching Australia and Europe and in Q1. Both retail and online. We're launching some domestic retail, but we're kind of going through the process. And we have actually a pretty strong medical distribution base here in the US. So that's the physical that we did activate. Those were not, from a COVID standpoint, we didn't really have a desire to get into physical at that stage anyway. Now we surprisingly have a lot more desire. And I wonder if it's just because there's been probably some innovation on the retailer side as a result of COVID, but we're finding that there's a lot of different interest, energy, excitement for new products than we saw, 8 months ago. So it's exciting to look at. Here in the States, it's a mixed bag in terms of how you can build a business going with channels. And we've raised outside money. So mostly angel and family office, but we still have desire to grow quickly. And so part of that means you have to be less capital efficient at times to learn your business better. And that's what we did earlier. And now we're switching to be a lot more capital efficient, making the push to profitability.
When do you think you reach profitability?
Next year.
Next year. All right. So burning more cash and getting more customers versus focusing more on profitability. How many? So you have been in the business for 6, 7 years, 8 years now.
Yeah, Lasso only for 2.5. Before that, I was in the medical device space doing something analogous, but a totally different approach to it.
Okay. All right. And which platform do you use, Partha?
Shopify Plus.
Shopify Plus. All right. Excellent. More questions will come on your way, Partha. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Mark, how do you handle the logistics part of your business? What challenges do you mitigate? What challenges do you observe and solve?
Yeah. Well, the biggest issue, today is capacity. So we recently made an acquisition, and now we're located right on the wharf, have our own tanks, freezers, trucks, all that jazz. However, it's not a large space, and now that we're 5x, but I imagine December is just going to be crazy. So one part of logistics is space, because you have boxes and coolers, coolant, and people. Perishable takes up a lot more space, not just the product, but all the supporting materials. So that's probably one of the biggest challenges, right? So when you're trying to scale a perishable food company direct to consumer, space is typically an issue. So how do you design accordingly? We have 2 product types. You have fresh and then frozen. So 75% of what we ship is frozen. Lobster tails, lobster meat. We have a really good lobster roll kit, and then shrimp, scallops, value add, so on and so forth. And then you have live lobster and fresh fish. So live lobster logistics, we actually cool their temperature prior to them going in the box. That helps put them in a hibernation state, relaxes them. And then we use a slotted box technology, so that it's like if you bought wine and each wine bottle is protected. The lobster, same thing, right? So we put them tail down, claws up. That keeps them secure, not moving around, and protects them when UPS or FedEx, wants to be a little bit rough. Lobsters are very resilient, so we really don't have a high mortality rate. It's very, very low. Receiving live lobsters is interesting. So that's a logistic that you got to communicate and letting them know they are live, that until after you cook them. Frozen is, super duper easy, except when dry ice becomes an issue, right? Dry ice is important with frozen boxes. And when demand increases for certain types of products, then dry ice becomes less available, and you got to plan more and make sure you source enough, and so on and so forth. But the biggest thing is space, right? And seasonality. So you invest, like we're investing heavily in space for now till Valentine's Day. And because even though we're 5x now, 5x on the holidays is quite substantial. So we really have to create space in order to fulfill. And then people, the logistics of people during a pandemic is a very difficult one, and following, protocols and making sure you're keeping everybody safe. and well. Maine, luckily, has been doing, a great job. It's easier when you have less people, but we recently have started to spike a little bit, right? So there's some concern, and so that navigating all of that while just putting your pedal to the metal, to drive sales is a interesting position.
Wonderful. Excellent, Mark. It's a great story. So yes, so plan in advance. Logistics issues can be solved by thinking in advance, procuring your dry ice and other stuff, and making sure your stuff does not get destroyed by rough handling of UPS or other channel partners. That's the advice from Mark. Thank you so much, Mark. Uh, Pune, tell us about there are there are there are customers which come and go. Then you have clients who stay with a little longer, and then you have fans. How do you convert your customers into your fans? You got to unmute yourself, Pune.
Sorry about that. How do we convert our customers into fans? I mean, I think that people turn into fans when they fall in love with Simone's artwork and the cute character families. There's something in the line for everybody. It's a pretty, we'll have 3 generations waiting to have Simone sign something. So it's just being exposed to the brand. Most people, something inside of the Tokidoki universe and Simone's art resonates with people. And I think it's just about being exposed to it. Most people love it once they discover it. And for us, it's just about getting our brand out there so more and more people learn about it.
So
I hope that was helpful.
Resonating with people, and of course people are falling in love with the products because the products are great. Having a great product is the bare minimum for anybody to become your fan. So in other words, how do you over deliver? How do you add value to what you do on an everyday basis? What innovations do you do in your businesses, in your processes, in the way you do business, in the way you delight your customers?
I think for us is that we're so very passionate about what we're doing. I am, Simone is extremely prolific, and he's constantly creating and innovating and taking the artwork to the next level. And I still squeal like a schoolgirl when the product comes in and I see it in 3D form, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so cute. I can't stand it. Or like, oh my God, check this out. This is so cool. I don't even know what to say. So, we go from cute to cool to cute to sexy to adorable. It's just, we have so much passion for it, and we constantly are innovating, and we want to push the envelope. It's always pushing the envelope. We want to get into animation now, and we're looking to develop and pushing into that. And so I think that's what keeps us relevant.
Mm-hmm. So what's your focus in the business? What exactly do you focus on in the business?
Personally, I would say, oh my God, many things. I mean, I consider myself one of our brand ambassadors, but also a brand steward, making sure that everything is on brand and keeping it all together. Our corporate headquarters are in Los Angeles, and our third partner is not as involved. He sits on our board, but since 2012 and on, it's been Simone and I have been really grinding it out here. And I have many responsibilities, everything from overseeing marketing and operations to finance and legal and everything in between, and pushing us on the business development side, pursuing new business opportunities. It runs the gamut.
Got it.
I love being here because I can also participate in that creative, not that much. I mean, Simone is a creative soul of this brand, and these are his. But we all get together and we have fun naming our characters. We get together doing that. Everybody gets involved, and so it's really fun for everybody.
Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Pooneh. Thank you very much. Uh, Partha, what are the core values of your company?
So for us, really the core concept is stay moving. What that means is that physically, we want to help people live more active lives, but also kind of emotionally and spiritually, I think there's this high performance lifestyle that's starting to build for people where it's about, taking care of yourself physically. It's about taking care of your mind, meditating, journaling, whatever you need to do, taking care of your spirit, figuring out what it takes to make you tick. And staying active through your life in terms of the things that you do. So instead of letting yourself slow down and getting bored, keeping momentum up personally, which, helps us all be happier and more successful people. So we take that emotionally and physically and really merge them and try to give basically that, that feeling of, a really high performance dynamic lifestyle that allows people to be empowered to perform at their best. And for us, it's all about beyond that, honesty, transparency, and trust at the end of the day.
Mhm. Excellent. Uh, how do you hire people? What do you look for in people when you hire them?
Um, I think of it like a sports team. So I'm looking for a certain level of uh, instinct for consumer. So I think everybody on our team needs to have at least some level of understanding of the marketing side of things, because everything ties back to building a brand at the end of the day. So we need that instinct at the core. Beyond that, tremendous technical talent in the field that the person's being hired for, and a personality that's very direct. So we are not about politics. I prefer friction and direct conversation and even arguments to dancing around something that's in the room. So our team is super straight with each other, and that can be really great most of the time. And sometimes it can lead to some louder conflicts, but that's what you want, because the friction is what causes growth. So if you avoid that, then people tend to stay static. And for me, it's not fun to work in a company that there's politics. So I try to make sure there's not.
Excellent, fabulous advice, Partha. Thank you very much for those advice, for those insights. Um, Mark, uh, are you making Zuckerberg richer than he already is? Are you doing Facebook ads?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, we do a lot on Facebook and Instagram.
Uh, so your marketing budget versus your SEO, content writing, Google ads, where do you buy your customers from? What works for you best?
Yeah. We've designed a pretty effective nurturing sequence. So we do a lot of lead gen. Because our AOV is 190, it takes a little bit to convert. So one, audience segmentation in the ad space, right? A lot of lookalike. We're also getting into other channels for top of funnel. So getting into podcasts, streaming television, things like that to build awareness and then remarket. So once we get them to land on the website, and then if we get them to give us a cell phone or email, that gives us a really strong chance to convert them if we did a good job of identifying that person as, a great fit. Because it is 190 and, that's expensive for most, right? We typically, and I really try to zero in on personas and use those as triggers or suppressors when we're building audience lists. But email ends up being the tool that converts them at a higher rate. When we're driving traffic to if it's a major holiday or something like a pandemic where protein just isn't readily available, then it's a little bit easier. But we've seen our CAC go up, up. And then for the during the elections, the CAC went, way up because, all the media was bought. And then the holidays, it goes down because, right, people want to celebrate, so they're going to buy fine foods and have it delivered to their house. But most of our spend is Facebook, Insta, Google.
And what's your ROAS?
Typically around 5.
5x?
Yeah.
Excellent. That's excellent, because I have been speaking to I think I spoke to almost 100 plus e-commerce entrepreneurs in the US in the last 4 months. And what they have been saying is average is 2.2 to 2. Or let's say 3x. If they're spending $100 on Facebook, they're getting business worth $300. So 5x is super.
Yeah. And then the major holidays help that, right? Because we're getting 6, 7, whereas typically our average, right, when there's not a holiday, it's lower than 5. So, but whereas a perishable food product, I need 3 to 4 minimum. We have a good LTV, right? We get them to order again, but you also got to look at cash flow. So it's that dance of LTV, cash flow, and ad spend.
Got it. Yes. So you clearly are a number guy, and you also mentioned that you dice and slice the data before you shoot your emails out, before you target your customers on different channels, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. How do you do customer segmentation? What kind of customer segmentation do you do, and how do you do it?
A lot of it's auto, right? Certain set of rules. We use Klaviyo, certain set of rules, and those are, living, breathing segments. And then I go in periodically and go manual, and I look at behavior or non-behavior and time, and then where they've spent time. So time meaning between orders, right? If it's been a while and historically they're about to creep up on another sale, then I'll create an audience, like that, and send them an offer. And based upon their action or inaction, I then will create another segment to what I call remarket those people.
Excellent. Fabulous. Which ones are your favorite app on Shopify? Are you on Shopify?
Favorite app? Yeah, Shopify Plus. Favorite app, Push Out is pretty cool. I don't know if it's, my favorite, but, that's a great tool for push notifications. I'm not really wowed by, the apps, to be honest. I feel like we need to custom build our stuff. I mean, we're perishable food, so everything is designed for non-perishable. Date picker, right? We allow people to choose the date, and that's like the biggest obstacle with any platform, right? Nobody really has a robust date picker built in out of the box. So we often have to custom build that regardless of the platform. But anything that integrates with our sales channels works pretty well. So it's nice to have dynamic audiences and push notifications and automated email, so that we can make money while we sleep.
Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you so much, Mark. A great piece of advice from you very much. Pooneh, is putting your business on autopilot, is that should that be one of your aims? Like, you should make your money whether you get up in bed or not.
My business is not on autopilot.
Yes, so I'm saying, should an entrepreneur be focusing on putting their business on autopilot?
I mean, I think it depends on the individual, I suppose, and the industry that you're in. Um,
You know what? I have a book here about the Everything Store, Jeff Bezos, uh, and all other entrepreneurs. They're making money even when they're on the bed, whether they go to office or not. And so I have a business coach in the US, and we have a business coach in India as well. And the objective that they set for us, how can Enalito work without Amit? How can Tokidoki work without Pune? And Pune should get her money without getting it from a bed. I'm
I
asking.
suppose I suppose you hire underneath you. I mean, I think that's you get big enough where you can just delegate absolutely everything.
Yes,
But I don't know if I really want. That doesn't sound like fun. That's not fun.
you can then do a lot. You can move on to the other business, like the fourth business, the fifth business, and keep on building businesses and keep on moving forward.
Well, the way that I kind of scratch that itch at this point is I support other female entrepreneurs, and I'm involved in a fund that actually it's Jesse Draper's fund. It's Halogen Ventures, and it basically supports other female entrepreneurs. And I try to support and counsel other entrepreneurs when I can. So I kind of scratch that itch that way, but I still love what I'm doing. So I don't really want to stop what we're doing. We haven't gotten to where we want to get yet. So yeah.
Excellent. Wonderful. Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you so much, Pune. Partha, what's your take on that? Do you think entrepreneurs should delegate more, control less, and be out of the equation and put things on autopilot and focus on the next thing?
That's an interesting question. I think entrepreneur is an overly broad term, because the Sanskrit root of the word means that it's one who's driven from within, driven by the self, right? So that's a really broad category. It has no bearing on industry, has no bearing on lifestyle, but rather it's just an identification of a type of people that prefer to work a certain way. So I think there's so many different personality traits for a person. Like, I know people who are stressed out every day, all day. That's not really my MO. I really, really appreciate, I call it work-life harmony, but I'm very, very active socially on top of being very active in my business. And the way that my role is structured, most of my contributions to the business are social. It's hanging out with athletes, hanging out with various, players in our space that really affect how our business grows. So I think life is what you make it. And if you have the ability to build a business, you get to build it around what you want to do every day. So if you want to lay in bed all day and just have money come in, there's a ton of people that do that. I think that's the majority of entrepreneurship content on YouTube, is people who are trying to sell you on this, stay at home drop shipping dream where you don't really have to do anything. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's such a personal choice. Like it doesn't really matter how you run it. But I think that's kind of the beauty of it, is you get to decide that. Whereas if you were to take a job, someone else is telling you how to use your time and live your days.
Wonderful. Excellent. Partha, thank you so much. That was a great tip from you. Uh, Partha, what are in the last 6 or 7 months, what mistakes did you make in your business? Or what lessons?
Yeah, we saw a lot of growth. And one big mistake, which I didn't think we would make, is we ran out of stock last month. So we had basically 3 straight months of doubling of our revenue. And we had projected for that as well. What we didn't anticipate was the increase in lead times leading into Q4 hitting so early this year. And it slowed us down. It put us out of stock for about 3 weeks on one of our most popular SKUs, which was obviously not something you want to do. So a big learning lesson for us, but also prompted me to kind of make the push that, hey, we're getting to a scale where we need to hire somebody else onto our ops team. We need to start, beefing that up. It was something I've been holding off on. It's interesting because I hear it from a lot of other business leaders too. It's like, your hires that you need are very obvious because it feels like everything's on fire until they come in. And then it's very easy to tell who you should let go of too, because they're the ones who make drama out of everything or make things very difficult on a day-to-day basis. So, it just kind of looking at the last few months, I just realized that I should have taken a better kind of handle on the growth. And one thing I've done to amend that is set kind of top line limits in terms of how we're trying to grow. We know the demand's there, and yes, it is holiday season, but maybe it's from being young, but it's exciting to push the gas pedal. And now I'm learning it's wiser to just be a little bit conservative with how fast you grow, just to ensure that all your systems are being built to pace, because it can be easy to scale revenue, but it's very hard to scale everything else that's human based that needs to be scaled to support huge jumps in revenue.
Excellent, Partha. Thank you so much. That was a good piece of learning from you. Uh, Partha, are you also a data guy? Do you know what apps do you use in Shopify? Which ones are the favorite
Yeah,
ones?
I'll give you one that I really like. Peel, Peel. It's like a daily dashboard. Basically, in your Slack every day, you get hit up with like 100 KPIs of everything that's going on with the revenue and all of that. Gives you trailing 30 days, tells you what your most popular products are, identifies trends, and it can measure against your cost of goods and give you net profit as well now. So it's a really, really cool software. I met the team very early on when they were just starting to launch it. And it's what I check first thing every morning.
Excellent. Peel. Anything else?
That's honestly my one of my favorites. The other one, I don't know if it's an app per se, but we're integrated with them. It's called Co-op Commerce. I think they just launched the app. The idea is that they group you with a bunch of similar brands, and on everybody's post purchase page, they'll advertise the other brands in your group. So for us, we're grouped with 4 or 5 different premium fitness brands. The trade-off for us giving our post checkout space to those other brands is whenever they have someone check out on their site, they see our ad for our product. So pre-qualified buyers that are being exposed to what you do right after they swipe their credit card with a brand they trust. So I'm a big fan of that, just because if only for the brand awareness, it's a nice way to associate yourself in a certain group of brands to those qualified buyers that are already moving through I'd say like similar brands websites. So those two specifically are what I like. I'm big on having ease of access to data. So we use tools like Heap Analytics, which are great, but it does take me some time. I have to commit time to get my information. So I like getting the daily dose just to know what's going on. And then on the flip side, any way that we can partner with other brands, and that can be a really easy, streamlined process. I'm a fan of that as well.
Mhm. Excellent. Fabulous. Um, if I give you a chance to change something about your business or about your customers, about the way you do business, what would you what would you change, Partha?
Uh, is there kind of like a time frame attached to that question? Is it in the current moment, or is it
Currently, suppose I wish this was this. I wish there were more people who were concerned about their health. Uh,
Yeah, it's an interesting spot for us right now. I don't know. I'm really bad at these questions. I rarely want to change anything about my life, just because I just don't see things that way. I'm not big on regret either. I feel very, very at peace with every decision we've made. And, I'm curious too. I really enjoy the learning along the way. I really enjoy making the mistakes and seeing what I get out of that. So moving forward, I don't think there's anything I would change. I'm fortunate to have a lot of brilliant people around me, a lot of brilliant team members who really drive the bus, and I'm able to really guide us in a cohesive direction. Just make sure everybody's moving the right way, and try and help remove any obstacles in our path. So it's a pretty good run. I just feel very fortunate for it.
Fabulous, fabulous, Partha. Thank you so much. That's great learning from you. Mark, uh, tell us about how will be Black Point Seafood without Mark?
I'm working on that. It's necessary. I'm a very controlling leader. And I'm slowly working on that. And I think my best, what I can lend the brand the most is just being out in front and sharing the brand with people. So whether that be, podcasts or, having a weekly show, stream, things like that. And we chose early on that we were going to try to create a family-like connection with our customers. And then to make that at scale, then I obviously need to get out of the day-to-day if I'm going to be that person, or it needs to be somebody else, right? I am a jack of all trades, and the business grew really, really fast in the beginning, and then I kind of got a handle on it, and now it's doing it again. And so I'm starting to surround myself with really smart people that can free the brand to grow as it wishes. And so people, ops, kind of stuff. So.
Okay. Wonderful, excellent. Thank you so much. So we have had great sessions in the last round. If any of you guys have a question to a fellow speaker, please go ahead and shoot now.
I want to collaborate with both of you.
Yeah, right back at you too.
Just got to figure it out. Yeah, I think it could be fun.
Totally fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
So no, I dig both your businesses, and it's really awesome to spend time with other leaders and to be able to, learn and relate. So appreciate that.
I would love that. That would be
Yeah.
great to help each other continue to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, totally agree.
Wonderful. So we have great leaders here who are willing to share. All of you are such givers. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you very much. You guys did not shy away from giving away your secrets, your secret sauce, and your success mantras. And and you guys are so obsessive about adding value to what you do. Mark, Partha, Pune, all of you are continuously thinking about how do you make your customers your fans, how do you add value to what you do. This obsession of adding value is what it is what helps us be where we are. It helps us keep moving. Thank you very much, guys. Really had good time with you. We're going to be sending out a video to you in about tomorrow, most likely, and we'll also be cutting down this video into small pieces. We call them video snippets, and snippets will be posted on YouTube, Facebook, different channels, and we'll tag you so that you can also send it out on your network so people can learn from you. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Take care of
Thanks,
yourself. Have a
guys.
fantastic day ahead.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have an awesome Monday.
Yep. Thank you.
See
Bye-bye.
ya.
Bye.
Bye.